was still speaking, people came from the synagogue leader's house and said, "Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore?" When Jesus overheard what was said, he told the synagogue leader, "Don't be afraid, only believe." He did not let anyone accompany him except Peter, James, and John, James's brother. And they came to the leader's house, and he saw a commotion. People were weeping and wailing loudly. He went in and he said to them, "Why are you making such commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but asleep." They laughed at him, but he put them all outside. He took the child's father, mother, and those who were with him and entered the place where the child was. And then he took the child by the hand and said to her, "Talitha kum," which is translated, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl got up and began to walk. She was 12 years old, and they were utterly astounded. Traveling with him. Just as he neared the gate of the town, a dead man was being carried out. He was his mother's only son, and she was a widow. A large crowd from the town was also with her, and when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said, "Don't weep." Then he came up, touched the open coffin, and the pallbearer stopped, and he said, "Young man, I tell you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. Jesus gave him back to his mother. And then fear came over everyone, and they glorified God, saying, "A prophet has risen among us, and God has visited the people." This report went about Judea and all the vicinity.
Pentecost of fire, stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon. Yeah, resurrection power, running my veins too. I believe there's another miracle here in this world. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is the praise of the dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Then Jesus, deeply moved again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. "Remove the stone," Jesus said. Martha, the dead man's sister, told him, "Lord, there is already a stench because he's been dead 4 days." And Jesus said to her, "Didn't I tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they removed the stone. And then Jesus raised his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me, but because of the crowd standing here, I said this so that they may believe that you have sent me." And after this, he shouted with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" And the dead man came out, bound head and foot with linen strips and with his face wrapped in a cloth. And Jesus said to them, "Unwrap him and let him go."
My God is able to save and deliver and heal and
chapter 24, Jesus utters, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And if it were a war, this would be the aftermath of it. If it were a symphony, this would be the second between the final note and the first applause. Were it a journey, this would be the sight of home. If it were a storm, this would be the sun piercing the clouds, but it wasn't. It was a Messiah, and it was a sigh of joy. Father, the voice that had called forth the dead, the voice that had taught the willing, the voice that had screamed at God now says, Father, Father. The two are one again. The abandon is now found. The chasm is now bridged. Father, he smiles weakly, it is over. Satan vultures have been scattered. Hell's demons have been jailed. Death has been damned. The sun is out. The sun is out. And it is over. An angel sighs. A star weeps. Take me home. Yes. Take him home. Take this prince to his king. Take this son to his father. Take this pilgrim to his home. He deserves rest. Take me home. Come, 10,000 angels, come take this wounded troubadour to the cradle of his father's arms. Farewell, manger's infant, bless you, holy ambassador. Come home, death slayer. Rest well, sweet soldier. The battle is over. And then in just a few verses later, we hear what happens 3 days later when two ladies go to the tomb. They meet two men dressed in dazzling white, and they say, why are you looking for the living among the dead? He is not here. He is risen. Amen.
My God is able to save and deliver and heal and restore anything that he wants to. Just as the man who was thrown on the bones of Elijah, if there's anything that he can do. Just as the stone that was rolled at the tomb in the garden, what happens when God says to move? I feel him doing it now. I feel him doing it now. I feel him doing it now. Do it now. Do it now. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is the praise making.